Founded in 1936 by the Dominican Sisters of St. Cecilia, Overbrook School has partnered with Nashville's families for decades. We're all adapting to new ways of learning together. Some things have changed over the years, but each day we still root children in truth, inspire them to wonder, and challenge them to give their best to the world. What began at the White House in 1936 continues today. We're still opening doors for a strong community, academics, and faith for all of our students. Come join our growing Overbrook family today.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our first virtual Overbrook Storytime. We wish that you could be here with us, but we'll have to enjoy it this way until we can be back on campus again. My name is Miss Doyle, and I am one of the pre-K4 teachers, and I'm going to be reading you a book today by our author of the month. Our author of the month this month is Ezra Jack Keats, and he illustrates and writes his books, and I'm going to be sharing one of those books with you. The book that I'm going to be reading is The Snowy Day, and right now we're in fall and it's a little bit warm and cool outside, but soon it'll be turning cold and it'll be winter, and this will be a good book to read then. Another book that we've been reading, some of the other books that we've been reading by him are Peter's Chair, A Letter to Amy, and A Whistle for Willie. Ezra Jack Keats uses the little boy Peter in most of his books, and his friends and his dog. His dog is Willie, and our class really enjoys Willie. But this one is called The Snowy Day. And this one won an award, a Caldecott Award, for its art in the book. And this is Peter. The Snowy Day by Ezra Jack Keats. One winter morning, Peter woke up and looked out the window. Snow had fallen during the night. It had covered everything as far as he could see. After breakfast, he put on his snowsuit and he ran outside. The snow was piled up very high along the street to make a path for walking. Crunch, crunch, crunch. His feet sank into the snow. He walked with his toes pointing out like this, and he walked with his toes pointing in like this. Then he dragged his feet very slowly to make tracks. And he found something sticking out of the snow, and that made a new track. It was a stick that was just right for smacking a snow-covered tree. Down fell the snow, plop, on top of Peter's head. He thought it would be fun to join the big boys in their snowball fight, but he knew he was not old enough, not yet. So he made a smiling snowman, and he made angels. He pretended he was a mountain climber, and he climbed up a great big tall heaping mountain of snow, and then he slid all the way down. He picked up a handful of snow, and another, and still another. He packed it round and firm, and he put the snowball in his pocket for tomorrow. Then he went into his warm house. He told his mother all about his adventures while he took off his wet socks. And he thought, and he thought, and he thought about them. Before he got into bed, he looked into his pocket. His pocket was empty. The snowball wasn't there. He felt very sad. You see where his snowball was? While he slept, he dreamed that the sun had melted all of the snow away. But when he woke up, his dream was gone, and the snow was still everywhere, and new snow was falling. After breakfast, he called to his friend from across the hall, and they went out together into the deep, deep snow. And at the end, you see all the snow. In Ezra Jack Keats' books, he does collage art, and our class has done a lot of this. And so he takes pieces and he puts them together to create the picture. And so, like when you look here, there's paper that looks like snow, and it's cut to make the snow. And then when he was in his room, you see paper that's patterned that looks like wallpaper, and so that's back in the back. And his pajamas are the same thing. So our class, when we read A Whistle for Willie, we created the dog, and they used a button for his collar, and then they've got some paper, and in A Whistle for Willie, it had newspaper that that was torn in the book that was all around it. So one of our friends made this art. An art that you could do to go with your book that we read today, The Snowy Day. You could create hills of snow, the mountains and mountains of snow that you saw in the book. And then you could even do snowflakes. You might even have paper at home that you could use. And then you could color your snow. And then here's all the new snow that was falling. And then afterwards, we have a shape that looks like Peter. So we could glue Peter in his little red coat onto the snow. And then I've got his little face that you could do for you. And then Peter had a stick that he had found in the snow that he was dragging. And so you could even put a stick onto your work. So you could create this at home, or you might want to check out some of the other books by Ezra Jack Keats from the library. I hope you enjoyed the story, and join us again in December on the last Friday of the month for your next story time. Bye.